Hello, you're with Business Live. Our top story today, we're looking at the political turmoil in the UK and the fallout for the economy and for financial markets as business leaders in one of the most esteemed lobby groups warns about the chaos and impact on business and the economy.
Yeah, we've been asking for your tweets on the programme this morning about whether you still trust politicians, given everything that's gone on in the UK and, of course, over in France, as we'll talk about in just a moment. Of course, Emmanuel Macron expected to take a landslide victory in the country's parliamentary elections. Liz says, do I still have trust? Still, she says, never have, never will, not even the ones that I vote for. Annabelle says, no, next, move it on. Colgan says, it makes an assumption that we had trust in the politicians to start with. Keep your comments coming in. We'll talk about them a little later.
Let's quickly show you financial markets trading now for 50 minutes across Europe, and you can see France is the one standing out the crowd. CAC 40 up 0.2%, the rest losing ground. Well, let's discuss France in a bit more detail because the mood is very different on that side of the channel. France is forming a new government where Emmanuel Macron's new party En Marche is taking control of French politics.
Yeah, the party looks to be on course to make a landslide win following the first round of the parliamentary elections. Projections suggest that En Marche could get as many as 3/4 of the seats in the Assembly. Now, the final outcome will be decided at a runoff next Sunday.
Monsieur Macron's party was established just over a year ago, really new, and many candidates have little or no political experience. Well, let's unpack this with Dr. Francoise Boucek, who's a lecturer at the School of Politics and International Relations at Queen Mary University in London. Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. Welcome to the programme, or welcome back, I should say. You've been here before. Let's talk first of all about the challenge ahead, because on one hand, we're getting caught up in UK politics where it seems that nothing will happen at the moment. Over in France, Emmanuel Macron won that landslide, expected to win the parliamentary elections now too. But he's got quite a to-do list ahead of him. He's made some bold promises on the campaign trail and people will be expecting him now to fulfil them.
Yes, at the same time, he's riding a wave of optimism, and I think if his party gets up to 450 seats in the National Assembly next week, that France will be in a very strong position. Its economy, it's growing twice as fast as Britain. It will have political stability, while Britain is caught in this petty party politics, and it will have regained its place at the center of Europe, while Britain is slugging through the swamps of Brexit.
His big promise is to reform the labour market,
yes,
which François Hollande failed to do, Nicolas Sarkozy failed to do before him. He's already talked to union leaders. How successful will he be?
Well, his Prime Minister, Edouard Philippe, has already started negotiations and talks with the unions, and he proposes to do this summer and use the ordonnance, sort of delegated legislation in Parliament to speed the process so that by end of September they have a bill going through Parliament. And the trade union is... the dominant one right now is open to discussions, and there are actually aspects of the labour reform that will have some appeal to the youth vote as well, even though they have been traditionally more taken by his political message of political renewal. At the same time, his message of economic renewal, especially these labour laws that will devolve power to employers and therefore ease the creation of employment, especially among the youth where it's quite low.
So that's the domestic agenda.
Yes.
Internationally, we've already seen him stand up to the likes of Donald Trump. I mean, briefly, how will France now figure on the world stage with Mr. Macron in charge?
Well, I think in the EU, first of all, he's got a good working relationship with Merkel. He's already established his presence over the past 2 weeks on the G7, on other international front. He's met with Putin. So I think he's again gained a lot of cooperation and a lot of optimism from on the international stage as well.
Time's tight, but Francoise Boucek, really good to talk to you. Thank you for coming in and explaining that. We'll speak again soon, I'm sure. We'll see how these reforms get through, but nice to see you. Thank you.
And this is how to stay in touch.